Dragonborn Industries for episode 12 of Painting Up the Monster Manual. Hello, world online. And it's great to be back. It's great to see you all for our weekly painting challenge. Hello to everybody in chat, but most of all, hello to Richard at Warrior Prince 3D. How the fuck are you?
I am fecking fine for a day like this. All good.
Good. You been up to much, or is it just eat, sleep, repeat?
Eat, sleep, repeat. But it's been a run-around week this week. My youngest has had swimming lessons, so it's getting over the other end of town, getting my ass back here, getting sorted. We had the technician out today for internet's joyful issues. And yeah, decided to have a nuke round of the painting setup here. And trying to maintain printing timings, so literally rushing around before the stream trying to get the printer cleaned off, and the next lot started.
Because I mean, we came on about 2 minutes ago and we were like,
yeah, about that.
But it's about the same every week. But what I didn't know, what I didn't point out was that lovely Ahsoka Tano right there next to you. Have you watched the start of the series yet?
I have. I watched it yesterday and loved it.
Oh my god!
So this has been done this week in honour of the series starting. I wanted to try and have it put together today and primed ready for the stream just to show off, because I was going to give it a zenithal for its wonderful photo shoot it's going to have, but I didn't get it all finished in time this morning.
Well, either way, I hadn't noticed that until that point there when you were talking.
Right. Yeah, she's there.
Hello, the Mist Lounge. Welcome into the chat, and hello everyone. Yeah, I'm all good. Richard said he's all good, so that's what we're going to go with. What are we up to this week? Well, we are on episode 12, and episode 12 is page 24 of the Monster Manual, which is the Basilisk. The Basilisk being a monstrosity, and it's one of the first proper monstrosities that we are going to be covering during this challenge. It is a level 8 CR3 creature, so it should be about right to fight, a decent difficulty for an average party of level 3, 4 characters. Wow, my English is wrong around. 4 characters of level 3. And yeah, I think they are a fun monster to place. They find themselves usually in tropical environments, but you can also train them as pets. You can give them to bad guys or to rangers and stuff like that, which is really fun. I enjoy that they have an ability. I like monsters and creatures with abilities. Obviously, with the Basilisk, we all know Harry Potter. And if you don't, go check it out. It's a pretty good nerdy film and set of films. And obviously, the Basilisk is a huge snake that can petrify people. In D&D, the Basilisk is basically an 8-legged Komodo dragon that can also petrify people. So I really enjoy this creature, especially at the low levels. I have thrown one at a party before, and they were like level 8 at this point, so they just fucking annihilated it. And they are solitary creatures. I mean, have you ever put one into combat? Have you ever used one in D&D, Richard?
I have used one in a very, very nasty method. So I put one in and I chunked it up a chunder. So basically,
wait, I'm going to write that quote down. Chunked it up a chunder.
A chunder. So yes, normally being a difficulty 3, mine became a difficulty 9. And it was for a party of level 6 players.
Wow.
There were 5 of them. So it was a viable fight, in my eyes, because they weren't too bad themselves. But I utilised a complete environment against them, so they had jungle, big forest canopy. Obviously, this was this thing's lair, so it had actually not underground, but basically the ground level of the jungle was effectively like a raised root system. So the roots had grown over bits and pieces and created a massive sort of basically like a warren for it. So it was able to move around and take out the party and drag party members underneath.
Wow, well that just sounds like you hate your players. But I am going to be painting up another of the WizKids minis because WizKids have one. And it is quite a small mini, I will say. Like, the Basilisk is only a medium monstrosity, and trying to get that to focus on something so small on this point of the screen is actually kind of hard. It's a great mini, few mold lines, and last week I nearly cut my fingers off trying to take the Banshee off the base, and I was like, hey WizKids, if you ever do this again, why not separate them? They actually did. I didn't know they did this on some of the minis. Like, the Basilisk's face comes off, and I'm going to take that. Off it goes. I'm not using that, because I actually have a Loot Studios base here, which is like quite craggy and rocky, and I was like, oh, you know what fits on there? Lovely. A Basilisk.
Ooh.
So I'm going to have it like crawling down some rock. And it was already pre-painted, and I've just dry brushed some like reds and greens and browns onto there, so I think it'll be quite fun. And we'll talk about their natural environment and stuff. But yeah, so I'm going to go through some colours. I'm going to try and keep it close to the monster manual. So I'm going to go through those greys, those blues, and then go browns and reds on the horns and try and lighten up the eyes. What about you? What are you painting up this week?
So I am painting up a Basilisk from it is actually a newer Patreon or tribe as it is that I have started to go with recently, and they are called Claymore Miniatures. I've sent you the picture over WhatsApp just so you can see a big version of it, but I don't know how well my camera focuses because it's a puddle of shit. But yes, they are. As I said, recently sort of discovered them. Some very beautiful D&D minis from them. There's a rather nice illithid I'm going to be printing of theirs.
Oh, I'm just going to grab that image and I'm going to put it into here so people can see it. I've just named it something random. There it is. Whoop! Let's put it onto there, and then we can go whoop, 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 and hopefully people can see that. That is the miniature that Richard is going to be painting from insert name of company again.
Claymore Miniatures.
Claymore Miniatures. That's very cool.
Yeah, Claymore Miniatures.
That's very, very cool. I like that. And look, so I really like the 8 legs on the Basilisk. They are proper, like, chunky, like you said earlier, and like chundas. The missiles love it, and I have done that with a mating pair, and they each had a secondary poison as well as their normal stuff. Mist Lounge, that is brutal. And we'll get to a mating pair probably during this episode. But that's the mini that Richard is going to be painting up, and I, as always, am going to be trying to paint up one of the WizKids ones, because I'm trying to show you that you can do this for dirt cheap, while Richard is showing you what you can do with a 3D printer and using his 3D printing service. Because Richard, people can find you, can't they?
They can find me anywhere they would like to. On Instagram, Facebook, Etsy, down the street, on the streams here with Dragonborn Bard, anywhere Band of Badgers. I am trying to be as many places as I can be, mainly so that people see me, you know. A little bit of desperation.
I almost prostituted you out there and I just had snot stream out of my nose.
But yes, I am a small little 3D printing company, catering for everything tabletop, everything collectible, anything I can basically fit on the printers and can print within, you know, most means. So yeah, hit me up on any of the channels. Grab me a message on Instagram if you've got a question for anything, if you're looking for anything in particular. D&D characters, especially stuff like that. Often I do find a lot of people, you know, are stuck for a good model for their characters. Send me a couple of parameters that you're looking for, and 9 times out of 10 I can find something that will fit one of the categories at least. And I do have a very extensive library, so give me a shout.
I mean, that's a bit of a brag, but okay. No, that's and Richard's print quality, I will tell you now. I 3D print stuff, and I still go to Richard for the things that I really want to dazzle and shine. So yeah, please do go check him out. Dibs says I wouldn't get much for you if I did put you out on the streets. So
I'll stick to the printing then, Dibs.
And I will queue up the timer, which is next to me just there. I'm just going to line up the music, make sure that we've got that going. Guys in chat, obviously if the music's too loud or too quiet, let me know and I will adjust that accordingly. And we have an hour on the countdown. Richard, have you rolled up a level 3 character?
I have a level 3 character. Now I've gone for complete randomness this week because I forgot to put the name in before I clicked the button. So you got a random name this week.
Oh. Thanks! I love this pumpkin shirt too. Anything Halloween, we are in the season of spooky times. So yeah, you have a random character that's level 3. What is your racing class, please?
So I am a forest gnome barbarian.
Yes! This is the best combination!
Are you ready for it? My name is Quapip Apog.
Quapic.
Quapip. Pip.
Quapip Apog.
Pip. Yeah. Pippi Longstockie.
Nice. Right, so
what's he saying?
I freaking no. The message just says can't wait for my dragon to come from Richard. I'm assuming they've put an order in. That's amazing.
Yeah, indeed. The one of the 5-headed from the
giveaway.
Yeah, from the giveaway.
No way. So for those of you who are watching maybe on YouTube later down the line, or maybe you're just tuning in now on Twitch, twitch.tv/Dragonborn Industries, where you can find Richard and I every Thursday at 12 p.m. Usually, this week it's at 1 p.m.
Usually.
We had a giveaway, and Richard donated a 5-headed dragon to it. It's sat in a box next to me with all of the other goodies. I'm just waiting on the shirt to arrive to send out to Miniature Noodles, who won the lot. And next giveaway that we've opened up will be for 1,000 subs on YouTube, where there'll be the one-off Diggy Diggy Hole Dice. But also, if we get to partner on Twitch, so spread the news. If we can hit partner on Twitch, I will do another one of those massive giveaways where I throw a load of stuff in a box, and Richard will donate everything to it as well.
So Richard will donate a Tiamat to it.
Ho! Holy shit! You heard him, Tiamat, Takesis, the Dragon Queen.
I will put in a lot of the print Tiamat. Print it for that. I will also be running my own giveaway for a 2,500 follower push. On Instagram, I will be doing details for that to follow, and that will probably be a multi-tiered giveaway as well, in most likely statues as well as D&D minis.
Hey, and Richard, if you're so okay with it, would you like me to add something to that giveaway of yours if you hit 2,005?
If you would be so kind, that would be greatly appreciated.
That is only fair since you did that for our giveaway, and I will do that.
It's not reasonable to do though.
I will talk to you about that after the stream, because I have an hour set. I have it set right here. You are facing the Basilisk. You have a forest gnome called Quapip.
Yep.
Roll initiative.
Also known as Papog.
Papog! Roll initiative for me, please, bud. And we'll use that. Oh, cocked.
Oh, starting off with a great one today.
What is your initiative for me?
That's a solid 4.
Oh, solid 4. Okay, well, so I will tell you now that the Basilisk has a relatively decent stat block for a monstrosity, but where the monstrosities usually favour is going to be in their strength and their constitution. Everything else is pretty pants. So its dex mod is a -1, its intelligence is a -4, its wisdom is a -1, and its charisma is a -2. Those stats are all really low because this thing is an instinctual creature. It is a soul predator, and it's a monster, but its strength is +3 and its con is +2. So just so you guys are aware at home, that as a CR3 creature, that's its stat block. So, I'm going to start getting some paint out ready for this beastie. But at the same time, let's set a scene. So, I've already forgotten what you called yourself outside of Quapip because I've written something different down.
Quapip will be fine.
Quapip.
I was hoping that it was basically trying to make sure it was easy to remember as possible.
Pip. You find yourself... Pippy! I'm going to write that down. Pippy, you find yourself separated from your party. It's the middle of the night and you are travelling through a jungle terrain. It's hot, it's sweaty, you've managed to fend off many, many creatures and infections and insects throughout the day. However, you are trying to find somewhere to bed down for the night so that hopefully in the morning you can link back up with your party. Not being a magic user and being a barbarian, you find yourself lacking in communication skills. However, your forest gnome ancestry allows you to converse simple ideas with animals, and they point you in the direction of some form of safety, or what you think is cover of some kind. Hard to establish a communication base. However, you start coming across some old temple ruins, vines and mulch all over the floor, and starting to crawl its way up these like broken triangular buildings and striations. And as you approach, there are odd bits of art, you think. There were like jungle cats and statues of adventurers maybe, or heroes, along with things like displacer beasts or other jungle animals that you have seen on this travel, like a crocodile or birds of prey that are perfectly sculpted, the best sort of artwork you've ever seen. Some of them are broken apart, some of them are like missing bits, maybe time has shredded them apart. But yeah, what would you like to do, Pip?
So having horrific flashbacks of when my old mama used to tell me about gorgons and their monstrophic abilities, I put that out of my mind because that is sheer nonsense. And I press on.
Okay, so you start making...
Keeping low to the ground, keeping my eyes peeled, trying to see what I can see.
Okay, well, give me a perception check then as you like make your way along, keeping low to ground. And it sounds like you're trying to be stealthy, so give me a stealth check as well.
Okay, so we start off with a perception. It's a good 16.
Okay.
And I am the knight, for I stealthed with a natural 20.
Okay. You begin peering around this abandoned temple, old community, and you're unsure what this place once was. It's not your area of expertise. However, you stop, you still yourself, and maybe in your training as a hunter, or maybe you are some kind of, I don't know, like you have some form of training to keep yourself quiet. I mean, as a barbarian, you're used to fighting, and maybe it's like part of that. But you still yourself, hold your breath, and you begin to just listen to the surrounding area. You think you're pretty well hidden, and you wait for 30, 40 seconds, and you hear something that you're not used to. Something that would indicate like stone moving, maybe? It's like... and it stops. And then, again, you just listen, and you just hear this like...
I get as low as I can, and I'm trying to... Is there anywhere I can sort of tuck myself out of the way that I can keep an eye on the environment just for a little while?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. You can like make your way behind like maybe this like big corner of stone that is like sticking out of a mass amount of jungle bush, and yeah, you can sit there and just wait for a moment. With that stealth check, I think you are absolutely fine. And as you do,
that's my intention is just to sort of literally stay hidden, watch my breaths, only very shallow light breaths.
Okay.
Skip a couple just to be able to sort of hear that little bit more, watch for movement. Okay. Keep my eyes drastically peeled.
So as you watch and you wait, you know something's here. Something is moving every now and again, and you... Dibs just says Jungle Bush is Richard's nickname for his beard. But yeah, you wait on bated breath, and then you see some movement. You watch as a bird lands from the brush above on the ground and starts pecking at the ground, maybe looking for some worms or something underneath, like broken stone and rubble. And in a flash, you watch as this crocodile or something with 8 legs and spiny back, a reptilian beast, scuttles out. Stone seems to be dropping from its mouth with a to the ground, and there is a flash of bright blue from the beast's eyes, and he watches the bird actually manages to flap and fly away as this thing snaps at it, and you see this 8-legged... It's not big, but it's at least sizable in some way. Monstrosity. Make me a nature check.
Nature. Okay. Oh, that is a hearty 5.
You don't know what this creature is, but those eyes definitely seemed maybe magical or something, but it was certainly, you would expect it to be some kind of attack, but it wasn't quick enough to get the bird, and you see it kind of like skulk around, and it like sniffs at the ground, and then you see it like grab like another stone and just chomp down with these like really kind of like powerful jaws. It just and snaps the stone in half and starts swallowing it. And you imagine that was the noise that you heard earlier, and it's definitely this particular creature. But it seems oblivious to your presence.
Okay. Right. Looking at my environment, I'm not going to get out of here without saying hello, am I?
You don't think so. But at the moment, it seems occupied.
Okay.
So just for you guys at home, right now, before I attach this to the base, I'm trying to do the underside of the Basilisk, and I'm doing it in the Kraken Blue from the Army Painter Starter Set, which is the D&D miniature set that they do, and for beginner painters. And I just really like this blue. It's their Ultramarine Blue, actually, I believe is their closest one, or maybe their Kraken Blue. And yeah, I'm going to go with that, and then I'm going to blend it up with some other colours. But I've done a Zenithal on this, so I've done it white from the top and grey underneath, and then I'm going to let that hopefully show through as we move on. How about you, Richard? What are you doing with your mini?
So I'm using a combination of a few contrasts, Magos Purple, Thematic Blue, and Sigvald Burgundy, to blend around and play with a couple of blues, greys, and reds. And I gave it a Space Wolves grey, slightly watered down coat to start with, as the base thing to start mixing everything into it.
You and I think alike, my friend, because there is my wolf grey, ready to go onto that as a highlight, and I think it just matches those pictures perfectly. But Pip, you sit there and watch this creature. I mean, you definitely can try and get away and find somewhere else for the night, but this is the first bit of shelter from insects and like acid baths within this jungle that you've found. It just has a resident.
For now. Okay, what I'm going to do... I'm going to take out one of my javelins.
Yeah?
And I'm going to javelin it.
Okay. You will have a surprise round, so you can make an attack roll for me. Hello, Absalom Dak. Great to have you back. We're on episode 12, and we are facing off against the Basilisk.
So my intention for this is basically I'm going to javelin, and then I'm going to run and work myself into a rage as I engage with it.
Okay. We have the initiative roll from earlier. We're going to use that one. However, make your attack roll, please, my friend.
Okay, right. Come on, javelin. We are a 19 to hit.
Well, a 19 definitely hits. So, the Basilisk has natural armor, but it's an armor class of 15, which is quite high for a CR3 creature. But you throw the javelin and it, like, glances the actual beast. Give me some damage, please.
Okay, javelin. Ah, that is a solid 4 points of damage.
4 points of damage. As it kind of like slices across part of its side, and you just see this thing turns in your direction, like feeling the presence of where it came from, and the eyes just glow. However, at the top of the round, with a 14 initiative, it rolled a 15 with a -1. It will be going first, and...
Right, so I would have... On my surprise round, I've closed the distance, and I'm raging.
Okay, cool. So, how far can you travel?
A whole 25 feet.
So you get to about 10 feet away from it, basically, in the middle of this slight clearing. I'm not going to give you difficult terrain or anything like that, and you hop over, you launch the javelin, and start running towards it, getting your weapons ready to go. And as you hit it, it turns around, kind of grunts, and you just watch as the eyes flash, and you realise that this eye power has some kind of natural ability. I need you to make me a Constitution saving throw, which as a barbarian should be pretty good.
I was going to say, it is a hearty +5.
Oh, that's good.
So, that gives us a con save of 18.
18. So, you feel the eyes kind of pierce you as a person. You feel like you get a little sluggish, but you manage to just brute strength, force it off yourself. You're used to this from arcane casters or from other abilities you may have come into contact with over your travels with your adventuring party. But you feel it definitely try and your joints stiffen up for a moment, and you just carry on running towards it. And you think if this thing catches your gaze again, you realise that maybe that's what it was trying to do to these creatures around. They're not pieces of art, they are petrified. But it makes its way towards you, and it's not as quick as you would imagine it to be. It kind of with its 8 legs manages to climb over things relatively easily, but it's not fast. It scuttles its way with that kind of reptilian run towards you. It's almost like, you know,
Almost like a bounding sort of
lizard.
strut.
Yeah, like this left and right kind of like, yeah, strut as you say, and then it just goes straight in for the bite attack. So it's going to make an attack against you. This is pretty much its only action. Its Petrifying Gaze for everybody is just an ability. If you make eye contact with it and you don't avert your gaze at the start of your turn, it's going to attempt to petrify you, basically. So it's going to make the attack action. Oh, that is an 18 plus 5. That is a 23 to hit.
I would say that is a solid hit.
Okay, so the first damage will be the piercing damage. That is 10 plus 2 piercing damage, halved because you are raging. And what path of barbarian are you?
I am Path of Storms, I believe.
Okay, so no halved again from the Totem Warrior. So that's 10 piercing damage, half to 5. Sorry, no, 13 piercing damage. That's 10 plus 3. So that's 13 half to 6. And then you will take a set of poison damage as well. And there is no con save for this poison damage. It is just straight up 2d6 on top. Only 5 poison damage.
Okay.
So
Only.
I am just waiting for my...
I can't halve that as a barbarian, can I?
No, it's only Path of the Totem Warrior that I believe can do that. I think your Storm Path can halve that particular type of damage. I think it's lightning. But I'm just waiting for this blue to dry on here before I stick it to the base, and then I'm going to carry on so I can focus on the fight for the moment. But yeah, it lurches towards you, it like bites in, and you just feel the power of this like jaw. Like it is almost like an alligator or a crocodile or something that is designed where this is its predatory weapon. It is your go, Pip Pip. What would you like to do?
Okay. Right, I'm going to charge in with... carefully watching where I'm bloody looking.
So are you averting your gaze?
I'm watching where I hit. I'm keeping an eye on where I'm hitting.
So you are not averting your gaze?
I will keep my eyes away, so I'll take the disadvantage to hit.
Okay, so you are reverting your gaze, that's fine. Because part of the creature, a creature that isn't surprised, which you are not surprised, can avert its eyes to avoid the saving throw at the start of its turn. Because if you do not do that, you have to make that saving throw for petrification at the start of every turn of yours.
Okay, right, so...
So yes, you will be at disadvantage for the attack.
Okay, that's a solid 12 and a solid 12. So I will miss, I think that is.
You do indeed. What is your weapon, by the way?
I have a great axe.
Nice. So you take your great axe and you swing down, trying to hit at it, but you know to avert your gaze to stop this thing from petrifying you. But you swing down and it just like... The one bit of speed it has, it manages to just duck away from your attack, and you are... left whiffing, I'm afraid, to one side. Anything else you would like to do?
No, unfortunately, it's do or die.
Okay, so you stand your ground, you strengthen your barbarianism to like know that you can beat this thing as long as you can land a hit on it as it turns around. You're not making eye contact with it, so you don't have to make it on its turn. It's only at the top of your turn as it goes to bite you. This is only a flat roll because it's not at disadvantage. That is a 13 plus 5 for an 18 to hit.
Yep, that is a solid chunk.
Okay, so that is going to be, again, this bite kind of like comes in. It's going to be, oh my god. That's 11, 12, 13, 14 points of piercing damage halved to 7. And then the poison damage is only 5.
Tell you what though, if I was a normal bod without my half, that'd be a lot of damage.
It would be, and it's fantastic that you are a barbarian because this thing can take out characters, and if you can petrify the barbarian, let's say, who doesn't avert their gaze, or if you are turned to stone, it's pretty much game over. So it's fine as a party, but one-on-one, this thing is actually quite scary. But it is your go.
Okay.
Do you avert your gaze?
I avert my gaze.
Okay, no saving throw for you.
And I lose my natural 20 and get an 18 to hit.
Now the 18 hits. So the 18 obviously beats its natural armor class of 15. So yeah, as you like swing wildly with the axe, make the hit.
Okay. Right.
So I'm going to add some Dragon
Ooh.
Red now to the top of the
So
stack.
that is a 9 plus 1 plus 2 for the rage. That's 12 points of damage.
Okay, so... pretty hefty hit as you like smash into it, and like it leaves this like gaping wound on the side, and it's like almost like black blood ickers out of this wound. It doesn't look badly damaged, but it's taken a hit and it just makes this noise of like pain. Anything else from yourself?
No, I've got no bonus attacks I can do. I can't. The only thing I can do is an action, because the spell I've got is minor illusion is an action. So that is me, I'm afraid.
You could bonus action 2 weapon fighting. You just wouldn't get your proficiency bonus to the offhand attack unless you are wielding two-handed on your great axe.
It's a great axe. Has to be two-handed.
Yeah. Okay. So no second attack for you there then.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'd take. I did think about having my hand axe, but because it's a great axe, I think it's got to be done two-handedly.
Yes, I believe it does too, unless it has the versatile property to it. There you go. So if that's it from you, this thing like tries to circle around you, around your back, because that was a hefty hit, and it will again. It's going to go for the chomp. It can't. It's trying to match your eyes. It's trying to get to a place where you look at it so that it can chow down on you.
I'm not looking.
It's only a 10 to hit.
Ooh, that is a good miss, thankfully.
Yeah, as it bites down, you manage to like press down on its nose and like shove it away. It can't do anything else. It doesn't have any bonus actions. It doesn't have two-weapon fighting or anything like that. Richard, it is your turn. Hello, Kiddaroo. Welcome to the show. We are facing off against the Basilisk, a CR3 creature. Richard has rolled up a level 3 forest gnome barbarian. It's taking some hefty chunks out of him.
Averting my eyes.
You avert your gaze.
17 to hit.
17's going to hit. Roll some damage.
Okay, that is another 12 damage.
Nice. So it's starting to look a bit beaten up now. You like swing in again, and like you manage to like take some of the spines off its like lower back, and you like swing, and it's as it's trying to snap at you, and it like turns its head away and tries to turn back again. Anything else from yourself?
No, just profuse amount of swear words.
Okay, cool. It's gonna rear in again, and so the trouble that we're finding here, this is a pretty static combat, and because Richard is a martial class with Pipip, the forest gnome barbarian, and this is kind of like a martial creature. If it was in a party, it could turn its gaze to other people, and everybody who's fighting it would have to make those saving throws. Richard is averting his gaze at the start of every turn, so he is at disadvantage for fighting it, whereas this thing is not. So it's a pretty much a who can get the HP down on the other one quicker at this point, because it doesn't feel threatened enough by people to run in its instincts, and feels like it could take on this single small creature. So yeah, we are in the point of it. This is a hit point battle at this point. So it's going to make the attack at you again as it tries to bite you. It's only a 4+5. That's a 9 to hit. You are keeping this thing at bay as it whoosh, and again you take the butt of the great axe maybe, and you like slam its face. You're trying to keep your eyes away, but you sense it coming, and yeah, you manage to avert another attack.
Oh thank God.
You are up, buddy.
Okay. Another disadvantage.
I mean, you could go reckless.
Yeah, I could.
Why don't you want to, Richard?
I wonder why I don't want to, Ian. Because it will bite me. Yeah. I missed with a solid 8.
It's something about this particular attack. It came in, you pushed it away with the hilt of the axe, but like it's not enough to like swing around and get into it. Did you avert your gaze, by the way?
I did, yes. That's why I rolled twice.
Just making sure. Because some DMs would say, oh, you didn't say that at the top of the turn. I'm not like that.
That's good. I don't have to, strop off or anything.
I'm going to give it an intelligence roll. It's not great, and it's only out of instinct. And what I'm going to roll for here is basically just to make the fight a bit more dynamic. I'm going to see if it's smart enough to try and, hide and then re-get that gaze, or get a surprise attack onto Pip.
On Pip.
As a natural one. That is too dumb to work out what to do. So it's just going to go straight in for the attack. That's an 18 plus 5 for a 23.
Does that give it disadvantage there? Because I'm so cunning that it's fraud, it's intelligent.
I'll give it to you. Because I'm a nice DM. It's worse. It's 12 plus 5 for a 17.
Oh, 17 hits.
Chomp, chomp. As the Chungus McBasilisk comes in. We've got the 2d6. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's 10 piercing damage, half to 5. How are you looking?
I'm doing alright.
Okay, the poison damage.
Go for it.
5 points of poison damage. You just feel this like start.
Okay, I'm not doing it right.
As it starts to like make its way into your veins, and you feel that like not only is the eye attack bad, but the fact that this thing in its teeth has this kind of venom, and like, yeah, you wonder why this thing is probably a solitary predator. Is it probably doesn't need a pack or anything to help it.
You don't need no man.
You don't need no man. And it is your go, Vo.
Come on. No, not the natural 20. 15 to hit.
And this is it. Normally with a barbarian with Reckless, you are fishing for crits. You can Reckless, and you've usually got the HP to take hit after hit after hit, because when you Reckless, you get advantage, but then the enemy has advantage on you. And this time round, though, we're losing those natural 20s, and... Yeah, sorry, what was it to hit?
It's a 15 to hit.
15 just hits.
Oh, thank God for that.
That is its armor class. Natural armor of 15 for the Basilisk.
Okay, and we got max damage. So 15 points of damage.
15 points of damage, okay. It's not looking good. At the first time now that you are starting to see a real bit of damage, like on the glimpses that you're getting of this flash of blue and grey in the dark, Dragon Skull would like a paint update. So I am still trying to stick mine to this Loot Studios base, but we have a base of blue on the bottom half
base
of
of blue, hands of blue.
And a frills of brown and red, which we are then going to be working our way up. We're trying to blend it somewhat in the middle, so that we have that like natural kind of fade from one to another. And then I will go in there and I'm going to use a bit of purple in the mouth. How are you doing, Richard?
So I have just finished off dry brushing the base. I've got good...
Oh, I like those spines.
So I don't know how well it's coming through, but I've managed to sort of get a nice little bit of that burgundy into the spines. And I'm going to give it a dry brush, I think.
Nice. Nice!
On the old flesh.
Nice.
But I am likewise about to stick it to the base.
Nice. I'm finding
a buttery biscuit.
base, buttery biscuit base. I only heard that song for the first time like last year. I'm an old man and I don't do the internet. So that's the end of your go, I presume. Anything else from you?
No, that is me. No, I've not got anything I can...
No.
No, nothing to do.
Okay.
No healing, no nothing.
It's times like this, you miss the party. But you think you're doing alright. This thing looks hurt. It's starting to make noises that it wasn't making before. And you... been smash-a-rooning it all the way through it, and it is looking bad. It begins to growl, and it is quite hurt. It's starting to realise that maybe it's bitten off more than it can chew with you. You were small and it was arrogant in its monstrosity and in its predatory hunger, but now it's feeling hurt. It's going to go into self-preservation mode, as it's not smart enough to disengage. I do not think that with an intelligence of 2, it even gets to think about trying to duck out of the way. So it is going to try and turn and run. You may have an attack of opportunity if you so wish.
I do so wish. Right. I'm not at a disadvantage, am I?
You would still be at disadvantage because it's still technically within that round, and because you haven't got to the start of your go and you have averted your gaze, but you sense it trying to run off.
Okay, so that's 22, or that is a 16.
But a 16 is going to hit.
Right. Okay. 9 damage.
You smash the great axe down, just like it's almost like a wild swing as like it moves away and you just swing that axe, and it like you feel it connect. You feel it like slice parts of a creature off, and then you hear it skitter away, leaving trails of acrid black blood behind it. It looks, as it runs away, you get a glimpse as it's not facing you with those eyes that are glowing. You can see the this sort of like coming from its head area, but it looks like it's like limping away. It looks like you've taken a limb off this thing, and it is trying to run as it doesn't seem so fast though. It gets 20 foot away, and then it's going to make an attempt to kind of like hide itself, but at disadvantage because of a missing limb. Yeah. You see it try and tuck itself into a bit of rock in this like little cave thing that maybe was its nest or its burrow, its home. But you can see its back end. You can see its tail just like going in there. It is about 20 feet away from you, and it looks really badly hurt.
Well, it's about to get a very nutty gnome on its back, hacking it with a bloody axe. So I jump and lump it.
Yeah, so you run up with your 25 feet movement. You can go 20 feet and get to the back end of it, and you see that it's going into like a bored tunnel, and there are just pieces of like rock all around it. There are like, you think you see somebody's face, like a statue's face, but it's like half gone, like one eye and part of its nose and its mouth is like just been chomped apart, and you realise that like that could have happened to you if its eyes had met yours, and it's been chowing down on the stone, and this must be how it eats. And you think back to those stories of gorgons that your mum told you as a kid. By God, are they real?
And by God, are they terrifying?
Make your attack if you're attacking.
Do I have to make it with disadvantage?
You currently cannot see its head. It is trying to burrow its way back into its little home. You can make this as a flat roll if you so choose.
I do so choose. I rolled an 18. I don't... no, it's high level when the crits get earlier. 18 to hit. It hits, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, unless you're going reckless.
No, I'm not. I'm just trying to hit it. Okay, 11 points, 12, 14 points of damage.
How do you want to do this?
I literally jump, I grab its tail, use its tail and the sort of muscle in its tail to pull myself up. My right hand coming up with the battle axe as I literally pull, using my strength, pull myself into the air from the tail, grab the hilt of the axe with my left hand, and thud down with all my weight, burying my battle axe in its spine. And I keep twisting and turning till it stops twitching.
And with that, the creature goes limp. Its mouth is like slightly disdained as you hear this final like this sucking of breath, and it lies there limp. You watch the eyes just fade to these little blackish blue balls in its head, completely limp and dead.
Dead?
And dead.
Victory is mine.
And yeah, you think you can have a safe place to sleep for the night. You can harvest whatever you want to harvest from it. Make me just a straight up intelligence check.
Straight intelligence is a healthy 15.
15. This creature clearly has venom, and you know that like other creatures can be harvested for them, and maybe that's something you can do, and you can go in there and try and get its venom out, and you do so, and you manage to like maybe like tip out a water skin and put some in there, and maybe this is worth quite a bit to some people who would know more, and hopefully in the morning your party will find you. But yeah, you can have a night of uninterrupted sleep here in the jungle, and we will come out of our little combat right there. So well done, man.
As a result.
Yeah, and so I think one-on-one, the Basilisk is annoying, because as a martial class, it is just a HP battle, and you are at disadvantage. So it is a relatively hard thing to get through.
As I say, 1-on-1. I mean, even having something else, it would be really down to rolls. Because obviously, barbarian, I'm lucky with the halving damage.
Yes.
A fighter would be lucky in being able to battle action surge, and their sort of minute healing ability they have.
Yes, the second wind.
But yes, that was the second wind. But other than that, it would be tricky as a melee character, especially with the disadvantage and taking the poison damage.
Yeah. They are absolutely brutal, and you can trim your jungle bush, Rich. Dibs says. But yeah, they are, and I think they're just this fun little creature. They've only got 52 hit points. Obviously, you can do that with the dice rolls, which are 8d8 plus 16, so it could be quite beefy. Yeah, they've got like a passive perception of 9. They've got dark vision of 60 feet, so they are great little random encounters to have as your party travel, especially because they have this really fun ability as a DM where you can obviously petrify characters, and most parties have a cleric or somebody who can cast greater restoration, or you can like have things in local shops that are like anti-petrification bombs and stuff like that. So it's I find a really fun kind of creature. But yeah, it's well done you for getting so far through that, and like as a barbarian as well. Yes, you can.
I was going to say, dice gods were with me, and I think that was about it. It wasn't a case of it wasn't a skill, to do. I didn't have to, as a caster, I'd have to rely on maybe the jungle and stuff like that, and moving around traps and spells. I was quite lucky with
getting a martial
what I rolled, and what I rolled up effectively in a character.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like one of the jobs of a barbarian is quite literally in a fight like this is to be, and I know it's meta knowledge, but it is meta knowledge you can use. You know that your constitution is good. You know that you can take. Basically, you're not going to fail a DC 12 once you know it's a 12 constitution saving throw.
It's how a party of people walking around in such an environment would work.
Yeah, exactly.
And the only way they would work, knowing each other's strengths, utilising it. There's a reason you have tanks, healers, and damage dealers, sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that the other saving graces, it's actually not as bad as all that. And I think that when you're like make a constitution saving throw at the top of your turn, everyone's like, oh my god, every turn. But then you realise that like you have to make that DC 12 constitution saving throw, but I'll read the ability for you. So, if a creature starts its turn within 30 feet of the Basilisk, and the two of them can see each other, the Basilisk can force the creature to make a DC 12 constitution saving throw if the Basilisk isn't incapacitated. On a failed save, the creature magically begins to turn to stone and is restrained. It must repeat the saving throw at the end of its next turn, and on a success, the effect ends, and on a failure, the creature is petrified, and until freed by the Greater Restoration spell or other magic. So you actually get 2 saves on petrification from creatures like this. So it really actually isn't all that bad, because as a barbarian, chances are you're gonna make that second one if you don't make the first one.
I say, yeah, you'll make one or t'other, and if you don't make it, you're clearly not fit to be a barbarian, so you shouldn't be doing it.
So yeah, I actually don't think it is all that bad. But it is a fun little creature, and you don't have to go with rules as written in terms of them being solitary. As Miss Lounge said earlier, you can quite literally be like, I had a mating pair, because obviously they must mate at some point. So that must be a thing. Otherwise, one of the other fun things is you can like lead them away to other territories of them, because if a basilisk sees another basilisk, they instantly try and target each other with their gaze and turn them to stone. Or, if they see themselves in a mirror, because they are a low intelligence creature, they will think it's an opposition or a rival to their territory and try and petrify themselves. So it's actually a relatively fun little thing that you can do in many different ways. I mean, most people don't carry a mirror around on them, unless you are one of the players in our group who quite literally tried to carry a 12-foot mirror on her back while trying to scale a rope and died. Fell like massive amount of... way down a gorge because they were trying to carry a mirror around with them, and it was this really heartbreaking moment, and I thought it was funny. Not against the basilisk, just they were carrying it and we were trying to...
They were just carrying a mirror.
And it was amazing. It was one of these things that got them on their own. I'm going to reset the music just here, and let's keep going. So how are you doing with your mini?
I'm alright. He's now glued on. Added a little bit of a wash to the scales, and bit of a dry brush, Might do another little bit. I've slightly greyed out the eyes, and I want to go for the. It's got a glowing light blue on that, hasn't it? Like
Yes.
turquoise.
It's like a petrifying gaze, kind of like. Mine personally, I'm still waiting for some of that glue to dry because I haven't used any.
How long have we got on the timer?
You've still got 21 minutes, my friend. I think
Well,
it'll definitely be
still doing
done. It's a small mini, and I'm just trying to get a decent shot of that because I'm still waiting. I'm going to use some contrast paints in a minute to shade in some areas, and I've painted some purple into some of the deeper recesses and across the base of the spines, and then I'm going to hit the tops of the spines with a little bit of orange, actually. Orange. But it's coming along. It's certainly, at this point, I could call it table ready, and then we put some white in the eyes, which we are going to then do a little bit of OSL around them. But
I've also just realised that I no longer have a flat dry brush.
I had to go out the other day and get one, but I got one that was a bit too big because that's all they had.
Oh yeah.
But it's fine. It's not a problem. It's not a problem.
Not the problem.
So I'm gonna have to grab some Riser Rust for the tops of those tips, and I'm gonna do that.
Tops of the what?
Tops of the tips. Get your mind out of the gutter, Richard.
Not that I'm a massive child or anything, you know.
Your name's Dick. Shut up. Absalom Dak, a mirror with standard dungeon equipment in AD&D. It shows how play has changed. Not that many people use one in modern games. I think, yeah, like a hand mirror, absolutely. But if you're trying to carry a queen's 12-foot tall full body mirror on your back as a half elf, as you're trying to scale across a gorge, not Demolition Man, cliffhanger style.
You deserve what you get.
I'm very sorry, but yeah. But I was a player in that one, and my character was just like a no damage dealing cleric, just there to help, and yeah, that was just brutal, just like no, as a character fell to their death, and we didn't even see them go splat. That's how far it was. Have you had any characters die? That's something I've never actually asked you. In this one,
player, or have I actually had a character die?
Both actually. Like, have you had like character deaths as a DM, and have you had player deaths as a player?
I have. I've never had a character. I've never had one of my characters I've played die.
Nice.
But to be honest, up until the last year, I've never had that many characters because I've always been a DM. Player deaths, I've had one permadeath.
Oof.
But that was a bit of a half and half situation of bad circumstances and manufacturing slightly.
Yeah.
So basically, it was a very tough fight. The player turned around and said, "Look, I wouldn't mind dying. I wouldn't mind doing something else." I said, "Look, see how the dice play out," and he was able to sacrifice himself.
Oh, nice.
So it worked out quite nicely. My friend Neil, I have killed his thief on multiple occasions. She has a habit of when going up against casters, she will get up and close. And because of the party I had at the time, I had a high level monk, high level rogue. It was a big party of chunky people. So my casters weren't a 40 HP caster. They were meaty and nasty. So yeah, he's been melted a couple of times.
Nasty.
My friend, my best mate, Alan, I've killed him a couple of times. Bless him, he got brutally murdered once on his way out of his tent of a morning when the camp was attacked by a hill giant.
Nice.
And he awfully saved it and made a very bad save. And basically, as he stepped foot out of the tent, he literally got squished.
Yeah, by a big flying rock.
Wasn't even wafted. He literally just got pizzaed.
Oh, lovely. So Absalom says, on Roll20, I think 50% of my characters have died, maybe higher than 50. Damn, dude. Damn. That's hardcore. But I quite like... I'm really bad for it. I give my characters really bad detriments to themselves. They are yeah, I just tend to hinder myself as a character, and I love it.
I like to have downsides.
Yeah.
So a character will have a very good, something strong, something something that he's good at, a good character a trait, but there will always be something that will hinder at some point on effectively like the ruling, as it were. At one point there's something I won't do as a player, as a character that I could do as a player to save him, sort of thing, or to stop something. I much prefer having that sort of say a humanity to the character. You put the spin on it. You have the soul to it. You want certain things, as part of a character and part of character progression as well.
Exactly.
Because these things can, they can be added to the detriment of the character to be worked over, and they always 9 times out of 10 make good roleplay opportunities.
And so this actually brings me on to my next plug for myself. Tonight, at 9 o'clock, I'm back with Banded Badges for the Midnight Tower campaign, where I'm playing the Dragonborn Bard, Vixorus of the Drauden. And my detriment to myself during this one is that he has never really left home. He is a bard that is like your standard average, like, hey, how you doing kind of guy, but like has never really been in any fights or combat. And so I've like spent most of my combats not doing any damage and just running away and trying to hide because he's just not a fighter. And with that, it's like everyone's like at the table like, okay, well, we're a player down, but I'm like, yeah, maybe there's some progression there somewhere that maybe he'll learn to fight a bit better. Maybe he'll, and we'll see as the story goes on.
It gives other people the opportunity to also interact with you and to pick you up as a person on those things. What the hell are you doing, sort of thing?
Exactly, and Dave's character Kingsman is quite literally doing that, and we had a conversation, and I intend to have more, and I reckon there's going to be a lot of character progression, and I'm all about the RP and the character progression. So, as for painting, though, before we carry on with the next bit, I am taking some Croxigor scales and going over very lightly everywhere that I did blue and purple, so that hopefully those different tones start to come through and out, and we start to see more definition. How about you?
I'm literally just going over with a light wash, a mix of contrast and thinner medium, just to blend in some of the colours and give it an overall greyer look, but you can still pick out some of the little bits and pieces.
Nice.
Yeah. Going back to we were saying about the detriments, we the wife has started running the dragon campaign, and I put in an artificer that I've been wanting to do for a long time.
Nice.
And basically, all he's ever done is invent things, build things, and he's wanting to study dragons to be able to learn about them, to be able to build them, and to be able to use dragonfire.
Nice.
He has never been in a fight in his life.
Good.
So when he is hurt and when he's been hit, he has literally screamed because he does not know, he's never had pain.
Yeah.
So we got jumped and people found us because something hit me and literally was just screaming in agony.
Yeah, so Absalom, I've died a lot, mostly by poor players, healers who don't heal even though you're about to die, and DMs who use you as an NPC to show the other players deaths can happen in the games. That sucks, dude.
Yeah, that really does.
Yeah, so I'm going to... my glue didn't set on this one properly, so I'm just going to use some accelerator just to get that going before I do the OSL on the eyes, and then I'm going to say that I'm done.
How long have we got?
You've got 13 minutes, buddy.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah.
13?
13.
13.
13.
13.
30 turn. So I'm going to grab... So what I've done so far is I've got the Crocskull scales all over there, and that'll take a little while to dry, just to kind of give it that deep kind of cartoony greeny blue that I wanted. And the purple will show through for the dark grey areas. I need to get a darker purple in the mouth, and then I need to get the OSL on those eyes. But what I'm going to use is a very bright blue, and it is one of my favourite colours. And it's from the Army Painter. This is Void Shield Blue. This is a lovely bright blue. So I'm going to use that for the eyes. Is that a WizKids mini, Ian? Yes, it is. So I'm using the WizKids and Knowles' Marvellous Miniatures line, and I am trying to do this entire challenge where I can with a Knowles' Mini to show you that within an hour, you don't need to have a perfectly painted tabletop mini. You can be tabletop ready for dirt cheap in that time. Whereas Richard's side of this is that he can show you like the premium models that you can get through 3D printing. So I think you get the Grell and the Basilisk for £4 and you get 2 of them in there. And yeah, I've changed the base off. whereas last week we had the Banshee, and I was like cutting it off its base because I don't like their terrain bases. This one actually came off it, which was fantastic. I launched it over there, and I stuck it on a Loot Studios 3D print one because I just wanted it to be a little bit more immersive on those rocks as it comes down. But yes, this is a WizKids Mini, whereas Richard is painting.
Printing is the way.
Printing is fantastic. He's painting this one. That is from Claymore Miniatures, I believe you said it was.
That's the one.
It's pretty gruesome, isn't it? It's got like a dragon head and 8 legs. It's just like... So yeah, it's, I try and use the WizKids ones where I can, just to show you that that is a doable thing. But the detail on the ones that Richard is doing is absolutely insane. But where I can't find a WizKids Mini, I go to Richard. And even though I 3D print myself, he has been sending me out the ones that we don't have.
On that note, what is the next one I need to send you out?
Next week is the Bahia. There is a WizKids Mini for that, so I'm going to have to go get hold of that one. Then we're on the Beholders, and there are WizKids Minis for those. And the Spectres. The Blights, I think the Needle Blight, the Twig Blight, and the Vine Blight are going to be the next ones, and I'm very much looking forward to those fights, because we're nearly on the Goblins, and I fucking love Goblins.
I've had enough of painting bloody Goblins this week.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, for the Goblins, you want to run the combats?
Yeah, go on then.
We'll do a little switcheroony. Little switcher up, little DM dip from the old dickhead over there.
Really?
Oh, your surname's not Head. Dick Denyer.
Only ever one person in my entire life who has been able to get away with calling me Dick. Sorry, 2 people. Tell a lie, 2 people.
And I'm the other one.
If only. No, when I first started working at Co-op when I was 17, I had one of the best supervisors ever. Her name was Chris Shrub. She was a giant of a woman. She was formidable as shit, but I loved her. And she would call me Dick. But it wasn't, it wasn't a degrading thing. It wasn't to take the piss. She'd just call me Dick because that was it.
Yeah.
And the only other person that could call me it was her dad, because when he came in a couple of times, he only knew me as Dick, so he called me Dick.
So, a little thing, I actually really do like the Old English name Dick, and obviously it's only something that's come out recently where it's like within the past sort of like 50 years, we're like, ha Dick. But yeah, and Dibs beat me to it. Dick Denyer sounds like a private eye name. He's put Dick Denyer, private eye.
Damn right
like,
it does.
Dick Denyer, private Dick. Because like Dick used to mean investigator, and like it's just
Dick Tracy and all that. So
yeah, but I used to I really liked the name, but I understand why if you were called Richard, you wouldn't like it.
See, I don't mind it as a name. As a name, I have no problem with being called it. If someone is saying it as a name, but if someone is saying it to try and be funny and to try and call me a dick, it's a different thing.
So you've all heard it. Richard has said something he doesn't like on the internet.
Exactly. It is now. Everyone is going to fucking call it. So.
Ah well. What can I say? Except you welcome.
Fun. Right. What I can say though is we are 2 weeks away from Beholders then, which means I am doing my first giveaway on stream. Whatever beholder I decide to paint, because there's a few of them, I will be giving away a printed version of it.
No freaking way. So do you reckon that'll be you'll do that during the stream, or do you think that'll be like an Instagram, or?
That was a thing I wasn't too sure about. I think I might make it on stream.
Okay.
Because I think that I don't know if that would be a fair thing to do or what, but as it is part of the stream, I'm thinking maybe we just do it on stream.
I mean, we can do it like I did the other night, where we have a keyword in chat, and then we can go from there towards the end of the episode. We'll talk about that off stream. But as long as you guys are wanting to win a beholder,
I will put out information on it beforehand, because I will decide what one I'm going to paint first.
So that's in another 2 episodes. I'm going to check the calendar. It's not next week. Could be the 7th. Okay. We're looking at the 7th of September, guys. Richard is going to give that away. Dib says, what's that, Ian? You like Dick? You know what? Why not?
Oui.
He's all right, isn't he?
I'll try.
I'm going to leave mine there. I could go in and highlight some more, but I actually don't need to. For tabletop ready, and I've still got some wet areas, I think I'm done. So.
How long have I got?
You've still got 7 minutes. You're okay. you should just be able to see like the brightness of the eyes. It's not as good OSL as I would like it to be, but it will certainly do. We've got a different contrast of purple in the mouth. I might darken that up in time, but as far as the tabletop ready mini goes, people should be able to see that. They should be able to recognise it.
Recognize.
And we've got a few different fades on there. I don't know if that's going to pick up through the camera. Oop. I'm trying to remember which way is which with my hands. Dibs, that's something I've always wanted to paint but have never bought one. Is that a beholder, is it, Dibs?
I love beholders.
Yeah, same. I painted a few. It was actually one of the first ones that I did and I put up on social media. Yes, Dibs says, yeah, it's a beholder. And I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing my Death Tyrant because I carved out the inside of it and put a light inside it for its eyes. I won't be doing that again.
I have been thinking about doing, so I started to paint one. If I can see it and I can reach it without clattering everything around, I will grab it. Bear with me. Right.
Oh, I like
this one is...
Oh.
That's Artisan Guild's one, and that's the one I've started. I was debating blowing it up by 200-300%. And doing a hollowed out one with in clear resin with an eye.
That would be cool. That would be very, very cool. I might grab mine then, because I've got some time, and I can.
As I say, spare time this week.
Yeah, I'm going to leave mine where it is. So I'm gonna grab my beholder. You got 5 minutes, Richard. God, I've got handfuls of the things. So many. So, I had to get some beholders ready for my players for the main campaign that we kind of run, and there was a book, an item that I wrote, and I made a physical prop for it called the Big Book of Beholders, and it was part of like a Monster Hunters Guild that they could find because it tied into one of the characters' stories that the beholder was going to be one of their main bad guys.
Okay.
And I've not had that before. I did one of these at the start of my 3D printing life, and
has it popped out with resin?
Yeah. So actually, what's happened here is I've not cured it properly, and this is like going. Oh, actually, no. I freaking bought this one. Actually, I think this is an Etsy one before I.
I say it's not that it's not been cured. They've not checked the pockets inside.
Yeah.
Where it's been hollowed, they've not cleaned it out properly.
Yeah, actually, look at that. So, actually, let me change the camera so I can see. That's interesting.
Has it split the whole lot on the back?
No, it's only on the front, actually. So they've hollowed it, but then they haven't put a hole in there to drain it out.
Watch out then, because that is going to be uber toxic.
Yes, I'm going to go throw that away. That was a lovely paint. That was actually one of the main bad guys for our campaign.
What? Do you know what beholder it was?
No, I'll have to go find it. But well, there you go. I was going to say I didn't print that one because I printed this one. This is Hagedorn the Destroyer.
Hey, Death Tyrant.
Which is got that predator mouth to it. I had a lot of fun painting. Absolutely, you can pretty much paint them any colour you like, and they would look okay, even with bright, garish colours. Yeah, I freaking love.
Yeah, I love going full blown multicolour on. As bright as you can get.
Somebody put one online. And it was like pink with a pirate hat on, and I was just like, holy shit.
Yes.
That was my first ever beholder. That was the WizKids one.
Actually, I've got mine somewhere.
So there was that one there. That was one of the first minis I ever painted. And then there was this one here, which is a Yahiko Studios. One just that. Yeah, and I think that was the inspiration for that one, was the Monster Manual cover. Yeah, look at that.
My very dusty purple beholder.
That's very cool.
Send me a picture of that beholder that failed. I think I've got it.
Oh, cool.
Just to clarify, and I'll send it in the next bundle.
Nice, and that is my Death Tyrant, right there. However, I've lost the light to it because I dropped it all earlier on. Came up with this, but I hollowed out the inside, and the light goes up all of the stalks. If I was when we get to doing this one again, I'm going to use alcohol inks instead of acrylic inks, so that those eyes really pop. But thank you, Absalom. You've got 1 minute left, Richard. 1 minute.
I'm done.
You're done.
I'm done.
Done. You want to show it off? That is mine. Very small mini, the Basilisk. Oh man, I love yours.
See, the problem is on my screen, it just looks blurred to shit, so I don't know what you can see.
Slightly, it should focus just slightly away.
I will pop a picture up on Insta as usual.
Yes, and I will make sure I do the same as well. Probably later on today, start of this evening. But
yeah, likewise.
Yeah, and 1 hour. Would you say that you have a Basilisk tabletop ready?
I would indeed, and quite proudly as well.
Nice, and I think that's the main thing, is you can get like a relatively good paint job in an hour if you know what you're doing. And most of the time I don't. And this way round, it was like the Croxagore scales was certainly like a last minute ad for me, just to kind of like change it up. But
I was just saying, 9 times out of 10 I ain't got a bloody foggiest, because I'm not good with colour and bits and I've never done, and don't come from an art background and stuff like that. So it's like, I'm just gonna do the old adage of throw the shit and see what sticks.
And that, my friend, is time. We still did it within the hour. That's another mini done within the hour. Done and dusted. Which goes to show that you don't need to be an expert painter, and you can do them in your mad prep just before a session, which I do many, many times. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Painting Up the Monster Manual. We'll be back next week with the Behir. The Behir is a big boy.
It's a big boy, isn't it?
This creature is amazing. They have a breath weapon. They are like the enemies of dragons. They were bred by giants to kill dragons, and I am looking forward.
What rating are they?
They're a CR11, so they're not too bad.
Yeah, for a level 3, they're
Yeah, I mean, let's
be a lunchtime snack.
Yeah, because let's look at one thing. Constrict.
Dead. Yeah.
Not only do you take 2d10 plus 6 bludgeoning damage, plus
Dead.
2d10 plus 6 slashing damage. The target is grappled, escape DC 16, and if the Behir isn't already constricting a creature and the target is restrained until the grapple ends, and then it can bite you with advantage, and it can swallow you.
Very dead.
These things are... so yeah, if the Behir takes 30 damage or more, you'll end up like being regurgitated if it fails a Constitution save. But if you're inside its stomach, 66 acid damage.
Very dead. I do not see me lasting long until next week.
So we'll see. And then we'll get ready for you to take on the goblin fights.
After the Beholder.
After the Beholder. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back next week for Painting Up the Monster Manual, episode 13, the Behir. May the dice gods be ever in your favour.